Kyle Richards doesn't trust Sutton Stracke after infidelity comment. If there's one thing we can always count on from Sutton Stracke, it's that she will take it there, and she did just that in the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This time it was Kyle Richards who was caught off guard when Sutton claimed there was infidelity in her marriage to Mauricio Umansky. However, despite the bold accusation, Kyle vehemently denied that Mauricio was unfaithful to her. The awkward moment occurred when Kyle spent a day out with Sutton and Garcelle Beauvais, and now she has lost all trust in her friend. The cast had plenty to say when they dished about the episode on the after show. Kyle said Sutton later apologized for her words, claiming it was an accident, but the brunette beauty isn't buying it. Is the OG ready to take another friendship break from the Southern Belle? Kyle Richards says trust is broken after Sutton Stracke's infidelity claim. Kyle joined Erika Jayne to discuss the episode, and let's say the OG is not very happy with Sutton after what she said. Later she said to me, "I don't know why I said that. I got so confused," shared Kyle, adding, "Do I believe that was an actual accident? Absolutely not." The mom of four said she thought they were good friends and were trying to mend things after their fallout in season 13. However, after Sutton's latest snafu, Kyle admitted, "I'm not feeling I can really trust you at all. I see you and I will never forget," added the 56-year-old. Erika also commented on the duo's ongoing drama, telling Kyle, "I think it's a one-way friendship." Sutton explains herself on the RHOBH after show. Sutton also opened up about the tense moment between her and Kyle during the RHOBH after show. She claimed her controversial comment was about Kyle's admission that Mauricio had conversations with women who slid into his DMs. "I remember we had talked about how it is infidelity when you text someone on Instagram," Sutton explained. Sutton isn't the only one who assumed Mauricio was unfaithful to Kyle before their separation. During the season 13 reunion, the OG hinted at something Mauricio did during their marriage that broke her trust, which she could never regain. She never got into any details about that, but the first thing we all thought was infidelity, and the ongoing rumors over the years certainly didn't help. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has never shied away from drama, but the latest feud brewing between Kyle Richards and Sutton Stracke might just be one for the books. It all started innocently enough, a casual dinner party at Dorrit Kemsley's sprawling Beverly Hills estate, where the women gathered to sip wine, flaunt designer gowns, and share thinly veiled barbs disguised as pleasantries. But when Sutton made a sly comment about infidelity, the mood shifted, and Kyle's trust in her Southern Belle friend began to unravel. The catalyst. A comment that cuts deep. "You know, Kyle, sometimes people don't tell the whole truth, especially when it comes to marriage," Sutton had said, her Georgian drawl dripping with sweetness that barely masked the sting. She was responding to Kyle's coy acknowledgement of the rumors swirling around her marriage to Mauricio Umansky. Though Kyle had brushed off the gossip about Mauricio's alleged dalliances as tabloid nonsense, Sutton's words landed like a well-aimed dart. "Excuse me." Kyle's perfectly arched eyebrows shot up as the room grew silent. Even Dorrit, typically the first to jump in with a soothing remark, sat frozen, her mouth slightly agape. "Oh, I'm just saying, darling," Sutton continued, waving her hand dismissively. "Sometimes people see what they want to see, and sometimes they don't see what's right in front of them." Kyle's lips tightened into a thin line. The tension in the room was palpable, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Sutton, perhaps realizing she'd crossed a line, tried to backtrack with a sheepish smile, but the damage was done. Trust issues emerge. In her confessional, Kyle didn't hold back. "Sutton has always had a knack for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, but this felt personal. She knows what Mauricio and I have been dealing with, and to bring it up like that in front of everyone, it's beyond hurtful. It's shady." Kyle's unease didn't dissipate after the dinner party. In fact, it only grew as she replayed Sutton's words in her mind. Was there a deeper meaning behind them? Did Sutton know something she wasn't saying? The thought gnawed at Kyle, leaving her restless and suspicious. A history of missteps. The tension between Kyle and Sutton wasn't entirely new. Since Sutton joined the cast, her blunt honesty and penchant for awkward commentary had created friction more than once. From criticizing Dorrit's fashion choices to questioning Erika Jayne's legal troubles, Sutton had a way of putting her foot in her mouth. But this was different. This wasn't just an offhanded remark. This felt targeted, calculated even. Kyle confided in her longtime friend Lisa Rinna, who'd always been a sounding board for her grievances. Over coffee at Kyle's Mediterranean-style mansion, she poured out her concerns. "Do you think Sutton meant to hurt you?" Lisa asked, sipping her oat milk latte. "I don't know," Kyle admitted, her voice tinged with frustration. "But it's hard not to feel like there was an agenda behind what she said. And if there was, that's a whole other level of betrayal." Lisa nodded thoughtfully. "You have to trust your gut, Kyle. If you feel like Sutton's not being genuine, maybe it's time to address it head-on." Sutton's side of the story. Meanwhile, Sutton was oblivious to the storm brewing on Kyle's end, or at least she pretended to be. In her own confessional, she shrugged off the incident. "Look, I'm just a straight shooter. If Kyle took it the wrong way, that's on her, not me. I wasn't trying to be malicious." But her actions told a different story. At a charity event the following week, Sutton seemed to avoid Kyle entirely, sticking close to Crystal Kung Minkoff and Garcelle Beauvais instead. When Kyle approached, Sutton's demeanor turned stiff, her usual bubbly charm replaced by a guarded politeness. "Hi, Sutton," Kyle said, her tone as frosty as the glass of champagne in her hand. "Kyle, darling, you look fabulous," Sutton replied, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. The conversation was brief, superficial, and left both women feeling more estranged than ever. The confrontation. Inevitably, the tension reached a boiling point during a group trip to Aspen. Gathered around a roaring fire at their luxurious mountain lodge, the women played a truth or dare game that quickly veered into uncomfortable territory. "Sutton, I have a truth question for you," Kyle said, her voice steady but her eyes blazing. "Why did you make that comment about infidelity at Dorrit's dinner party?" Sutton's eyes widened, and for a moment, she looked genuinely taken aback. "I didn't mean anything by it, Kyle. It was just an observation." "An observation?" Kyle's voice rose. "It felt like more than that. It felt like a dig. If you know something, just say it. Don't dance around it with these passive-aggressive remarks." The room fell silent as the other women exchanged nervous glances. Sutton's face flushed, and her southern charm faltered. "Kyle, I'm sorry if it came across that way. I really didn't mean to hurt you." "But you did," Kyle shot back. "And now I'm wondering if I can even trust you." The fallout. The confrontation didn't end in a resolution. If anything, it deepened the divide between Kyle and Sutton. Back in Beverly Hills, Kyle kept her distance, focusing on her family and her burgeoning real estate ventures. Sutton, meanwhile, threw herself into her boutique business, finding solace in the structured world of high fashion. Their friendship, once marked by playful banter and shared laughter, now felt irreparably fractured, and while the other housewives tried to play peacemaker, it was clear that neither Kyle nor Sutton was ready to forgive and forget. In her final confessional of the season, Kyle summed up the situation with a mixture of sadness and resolve. "I've learned that not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Sutton showed me that. And while I'm willing to move on, I'm not sure our friendship will ever be the same." As the season wrapped, viewers were left with a lingering question. Could Kyle and Sutton mend their broken bond, or was this the beginning of a permanent rift? One thing was certain, the drama was far from over.